Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'll be covering the weather for July 14th of 2023, and currently we have an enhanced risk for the majority of Kansas, mostly in the eastern side of Kansas, into parts of western Missouri and northern Oklahoma, with a slight risk that extends into the northern Texas panhandle, across the majority of Oklahoma, into parts of northern Arkansas, into the Chicago region, and into southern Iowa and Nebraska. As for the marginal threat, it does extend all the way into the majority of Michigan and as far south as northern Alabama, across western Tennessee and northern Mississippi, and across northern Texas as well. So this is a pretty large area of severe weather for today. As for our threats for today, we do have a 2% tornado threat, but I will go into much more detail about the placement of this 2% tornado threat and why I think the SPC is wrong for today. As for our wind, we do have a 30% with a hatch significant region for that enhanced risk region, so we could see the possibility of destructive winds today. And as for hail, we do have a 30% but no hatch significant region, so we're likely going to see a high possibility of small to medium hail. Taking a look at our pivotal weather model, starting off with our 500 millibars like we usually do, you can see we still have strong mid-level flow with that jet stream that is moving across the central plains. That is going to be the main trigger for severe weather development. However, you might be able to see this very long wave trough, this very broad and prominent long wave trough. It is pretty strong with mid-level flow in the 40 knots, possibly getting up to the 50 knots. It is in the upper 40 knots, but as this comes further down south, it is going to push on the jet stream and give it a change in direction to allow for a little bit of directional shear. It's not going to be too strong. It's likely going to be at least a 2% tornado threat with the directional shear that we are given from this, but again, it is pushing on the jet stream to allow for the possibility of some directional shear. But overall, the strong jet stream is going to be the main trigger for severe weather development across the enhanced risk region. And with strong mid-level flow aloft, we could definitely see the possibility of somewhat elongated hodographs and the possibility of small to medium hail. Taking a look at our dew points, you can see that we do have some pretty strong dew points. We have dew points that are in the mid to upper 60s, as well as the low to mid 70s, as well as some 80s back in Oklahoma. That's going to be absolutely insane in terms of instability. We don't typically see dew points in the 80s on land. They are typically in the Gulf Coast. However, seeing dew points in the 80s this far up north is going to be a big factor for very strong instability in this region today. And you can see very strong dew points are expected to be ahead of this system and going to contribute to the possibility of some very strong instability ahead of this system. And then taking a look at our lapse rates with our given dew points, you can see that we do have some fairly strong dew points across the enhanced risk region. We have dew points that are in the 7s as well as the low 8s in some regions. However, they are going to be mostly in the mid to upper 7s, and with the dew points that we have, we could definitely see the possibility of gate values that do reach the mid to upper 3000s. And what this means in terms of hail, with the strong level flow aloft and the possibility of our strong instability with the given dew points and our given lapse rates, we can see the possibility of a high possibility of small to medium hail. Taking a look at our instability with the given lapse rates and dew points, you can see that we do have some fairly strong instability. Ahead of that system, you can see in the enhanced risk region, we have cape values that are reaching the 2000s as well as the upper 2000s and low to mid 3000s, and even the 4000s back in Oklahoma where those dew points in the 80s are. This is going to be extremely strong instability, and with the given mid-level flow aloft, we could again see the possibility of some medium to small hail, a high potential for medium to small hail, as well as the possibility of some destructive outflow gusts with our strong lapse rates. And with whatever wind shear we have, we could definitely see the possibility of a small 2% tornado threat. Taking a look at our wind shear, you can see that we do have some fairly strong bulk shear that is in place. A lot of this is going to be speed shear, and you can definitely see some fairly strong speed shear. It's not as strong today as it was the past few days. However, this is still going to be sufficient enough for some slightly elongated hodographs and the possibility of some small to medium hail with a given instability across much of this region. And then taking a look at our storm relative helicity, everything has gotten pretty easy so far with the different parameters, but this is where it gets to be difficult given the placement of the 2% tornado threat in our storm relative helicity. You might have already been able to notice that in the 2% tornado threat region, there isn't very much storm relative helicity or directional shear in that 2% region at all. So I do not know what's really going on with this, and I don't I don't think neither does the SPC. All the strong directional shear is further down south in the Oklahoma and Arkansas region. However, again, there is fairly weak to little to no directional shear ahead of that storm line in the 2% tornado threat region. However, in the SIG tour for the SPC on the SPC's website, basically predicts what the SPC might issue as far as tornado threats for today. It does have a 2% located for this particular region. However, every other model does state that the wind shear is going to be further down south in the Oklahoma and Arkansas region. So I genuinely do not know what's going on with the placement of this 2% tornado threat, and if I do get an answer or it is updated by 4 p.m. EST, I will post an update in the Discord server stating what happened, and hopefully we can get it all cleared up. But as for now, I genuinely don't know what's going on. But with the instability that we have as the storm system moves into Oklahoma and Arkansas, overall weak but definitely sufficient storm delta Felicity in place is definitely going to allow for the possibility of a 2% tornado threat through Oklahoma and possibly even Arkansas as well overnight. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. And if you live in any of the areas that I covered for severe weather for today, please stay weather alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.